special report on earthquakes today. I'm going to teach you what they are, how they affect us, and how they are measured. What is an earthquake? Well, an earthquake is a sudden release of energy that causes shaking and disrupts the ground. Seismic waves are waves that transfer the energy released by an earthquake. Fault lines are where the earthquake originates. There are several fault lines placed along the earth. The epicenter is the point directly above where the earthquake originates, on the crust of the earth. The hypocenter is where the earthquake originates at. There are many causes for earthquakes. The two most major causes are volcanic eruptions and tectonic movement. As shown on this map, every red dot is a volcano, and every black line is where a tectonic plate meets. This area in the Pacific is dubbed the Ring of Fire. It is where 90% of all earthquakes occur. Another cause is geologic faults. A geologic fault forms slowly over time from two plates rubbing together. If a geologic fault were to burst, the energy would be so immense that it could be a major earthquake or higher. Some earthquakes are caused by man's interference with nature, such as a nuclear or atomic war, or fracking. Fracking is the disruption of normal energy underground. The final cause for earthquakes is minor events, such as mudslides and avalanches. Avalanches is when ice from a mountain starts to tumble down. Have you ever wondered how often an earthquake happens? Well, turns out it happens a lot. There are earthquakes almost all the time. According to scientists, there are approximately 8,000 earthquakes a day. There are 18 major earthquakes a year. A major earthquake is a 7 or higher on the Richter scale. There are approximately 2 million minor earthquakes a year. That is a 5.0 or lower. There's approximately one earthquake every year of an 8.0 magnitude or higher. Earthquakes are common all over the world, but they are also common in the U.S. Two most active states for earthquake activity are California and Alaska. Most earthquakes from California originate off the fault line called the San Andreas Fault Line. The San Andreas Fault Line stretches all the way from San Francisco down to Mexico. Thousands can be lost during an earthquake, but it's not all because of the earthquake. Some of the after effects can be just as bad as the real thing. Some of the after effects are as following: power outages, landslides, avalanches, tsunamis, fires, and soil liquefaction. Now we're going to go to our reporter in the field to provide you some tips to stay safe during an earthquake. You know how an earthquake is measured? It's actually measured by a seismograph. A seismograph string absorbs kinetic energy, forcing the bell to move, judging an earthquake. An earthquake is judged by the Richter scale. The Richter scale is the following: a 1 through 4 is small, a 5 and 6 is moderate, a 7 is major, an 8 and 9 are great, and a 10 is so rare that some people think of it as a legend. People think that the number of earthquakes a year is increasing, but it turns out we're actually getting better at measuring them. In 1930s, there were only 350 earthquake stations around the world. Now there's thousands. Some of the most high-tech earthquake stations are found in Japan. The first earthquake to be documented in photos is the Great San Francisco Earthquake of 1906. It happened at 5:12 a.m. on Wednesday, April 18, 1906. Though the Richter scale had not been invented yet, looking back now, seismologists think it would have been a 7.9 magnitude. The earthquake occurred on the San Andreas Fault Line. The shaking was felt from Oregon to Los Angeles. The fourth shock lasted 20 to 25 seconds, and the main shock for almost 45 seconds. This devastated the city of San Francisco. There were 375 deaths reported. However, many believe this is underreported since Chinatown was not taken into account. They believe the actual death tolls to be between 700 to 3,000 plus. Though the quake caused a lot of damage, the majority of the damage and loss of life was actually caused by fires. from exploding gas lines. At the time of the quake, San Francisco was one of the most populated cities on the West Coast, having about 410,000 people there. The quake left between 227,000 people to 300,000 people homeless. If the earthquake had happened in today's time, the damage would have cost about $11.5 billion to repair. Thank you. And now for some tips on earthquakes. During an earthquake, you want to find something structured that can withstand the force and to get under. You want to stay away from glass and appliances that can fall off the walls. Thank you for listening. We hope that we've given you enough information for you to be able to survive the real thing.